Manchester United are aiming to install a new caretaker manager in time for next week's derby after the sacking of Ruben Amorim. Amorim was dismissed 17 hours after his outburst at Leeds United, where he demanded to be referred to as the club's manager and aimed a thinly veiled dig at Director of Football Jason Wilcox. Sign up for the Man United newsletter. Thank you. Darren Fletcher's time in charge of Man Utd is set to be short-lived. Credit, PA. Oliver Glasner is United's top target for the full-time job credit. Getty. Darren Fletcher will take caretaker charge of the Premier League trip to Burnley on Wednesday night and is likely to remain in the dugout for the FA Cup third-round tie against Brighton on Sunday. But United insiders believe a more experienced manager, either permanent or interim, could be installed for the visit of City on January 17. United are seriously considering Oliver Glasner as their next permanent manager, and his contract at Crystal Palace expires in the summer. Glasner, 51, is the main Premier League candidate of interest to United, who also admire Andoni Iraola at Bournemouth and Brighton coach Fabian Herzler. Read more Man Utd news. However, Glasner operates in the same 3-4-2-1 system as Amorim, and United figures want their next coach to be more tactically flexible than the Portuguese. Fletcher, who served under former United managers Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ralf Rangnick, Erik ten Hag, Ruud van Nistelrooy and Rangnick, will chair a pre-match press conference at United's Carrington training complex on Tuesday. Amorim, 40, embarked on a wintry walk with his wife, Maria, on Monday afternoon and expressed thanks to the waiting photographers. Co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe was furious with Amorim's criticism of the club hierarchy after the Leeds game and personally made the decision to sack the Portuguese boss. Most read in football. Best online casinos, top sites in the UK. Wilcox and Chief Executive Omar Berrada summoned Amorim to Carrington early on Monday morning to inform him of his departure. Well-placed sources claim Amorim constantly blew up in meetings with Wilcox, tasked with offering feedback on the team's performances. Ruben Amorim sacked. Ruben Amorim has been sacked as manager of Manchester United. Insiders say Amorim became more emotional and reactive in response to feedback from the club's leadership team, who feel that there was not enough progress under Amorim. The club were unhappy with Amorim's recent criticism of club-led signings Patrick Dorgu and Benjamin Sesko, as well as academy players Harry Amas and Chido Obi. Dorgu, who arrived last February in a £29 million move from Lecce, was the first data-led recruit by United under the co-ownership of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Wilcox brokered a £73.62 million move for striker Sesko after United failed with approaches for Liam Delap, Victor Gyökeres and Ollie Watkins. Sesko has scored 2 goals in 17 games. Ruben Amorim was sacked after publicly objecting to his job title of head coach. Credit, Alamy. The dismissal has proven embarrassing for co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who chose Amorim as his first permanent manager since taking charge of football matters at Man Utd. Credit, Alamy. Ratcliffe will expect the next manager to have a better relationship with Director of Football Jason Wilcox than Amorim did. Credit, Alamy. Amorim took issue with Sky Sports pundit Gary Neville in his final press conference. Credit, PA. The United hierarchy were also appalled by Amorim's decision to revert back to a back three for the embarrassing 1-1 draw at home to Wolves last week. The swiftness with which Amorim was sacked has strengthened Wilcox's position in what is his first season as the United director of football. Senior sources say Wilcox was Amorim's biggest supporter before their falling out, with Amorim unhappy at United's unwillingness to strengthen their squad in the winter transfer window. Club sources found some of Amorim's press conference outbursts to be unexplainable, particularly the random mention of Gary Neville in his diatribe after the 1-1 draw with Leeds on Sunday. After that sign-off, the United power brokers were convinced that Amorim was attempting to engineer his departure and decided his position was no longer tenable. United are 6th in the Premier League table, 9 places higher than the 15th they finished under Amorim last term. But the club leadership felt Amorim was not truly committed to playing a consistently attacking style and that he was too pragmatic too often. At Leeds, Amorim picked 9 defensive players in his starting 11 and centre-back Godwill Kukanki was added to the bench at the expense of striker Obi. Recommended stories. Fletcher could include his twin sons, Jack and Tyler, in the matchday squad at Turf Moor. Brighton manager Fabian Herzler has his admirers at Old Trafford credit. Getty. Bournemouth's Andoni Iraola could also be a target credit. Getty.